Greetings to you. I'm Elijah Muhammad, the preacher of freedom, justice, and equality to you. The poor so-called American Negro. He's not a Negro. It's a slang, no good name that was given to him by his enemies, the slave master. Really, he is the lost and found. Members of his own nation, the aboriginal people of the earth, the black nation. He's not a Negro. He answers to that because he don't know better. And when he's told better, he still don't believe it's better. He still wants to answer to what his slave master has called him or given to him or teaches him. He don't want anything that his master has not put his approval upon. He don't want nothing but what he has until the master tells him to take something different. A very foolish people they are. And the intellectual people are more foolish than the real ignorant one. They are the one that is so poisoned under the teachings and trainings of their slave masters' children. They are the worst to deal with because they are proud of what they has been taught. And they are smart enough to study the history of their people and yet then despise it because that they are now thinking that they are the equal and the friends of those who are enemies to them. They think they are their friends. But nevertheless, I said to you, wicked intellectual people and preachers who refuse to come and accept your own God, your own religion, and your own people, way of life, the righteous. Come and accept your own God's name and your people who are called by the names of God. Get out of this that you are now confused in and making yourself so disgraceful before the eyes of the civilized world of your kind. I warn you that your condition will never improve to good. Your way will not bring you into the way of peace and happiness. Your way is the way of the devil, and they will not lead and guide you in the way of truth and righteousness. They are opposed to truth and righteousness. They wasn't made for truth and righteousness. They was made an enemy to truth and righteousness. You are now seeing these things, but yet you are too blind, you are too deaf and dumb to accept the right way for fear that you may lose the friendship of those whom you should lose the friendship of them, unless that you are going to show them the way of right. Not that you should go on in your foolish way of trying to live the life they are living and accept what they bid you to. They bid you to nothing but evil and filth. The day have arrived and the time is that you who are with them 100%, you will suffer the consequence with them. You who pull away from them to righteousness, the doings of righteousness, you shall inherit the earth as it is written. You shall enjoy peace of mind and contentment. And the nation of righteous shall help you. And they that actually is now destroying you and bringing you to an naught, they themselves one day will declare that you are the righteous and on the right course and should have been on it from them. This is a race who are very wise and very shrewd and skillful. Do not take them lightly. They are very wise in the way of wickedness, not in the way of righteousness. They are wise to do evil, but not good. And they can deceive you who have not the knowledge of yourself and your God and your religion. It's too easy to be even talked about. As easy as you can deceive an infant baby lying in the cradle. You are far wrong and blind. You are spiritually blind, deaf, and dumb. You are haters of self and lovers of your enemies. This will not get you anything like joy in this day. It will get you grief, sorrow, and get you into want. I warn you that the God of peace, the God of love, the God of mercy and righteousness will not aid you in this day and time when you turn from him or stop up your ears to his call. Think not that you are wise in trying to reject Almighty God, Allah, and the true religion of Islam, which means entire submission to the will of God. You are not great enough, nor the nation in whom you are a subject to is great enough in wisdom and power to get away today with rejecting the truth and the presence of Almighty God Allah, whom he have to fulfill what is written of him of the prophets, that he would come such the earth looking for you and me. And if we reject submitting to him and following and believing in him and his servant, we suffer hellfire. This is what you are about to do today. You think that the time will not come in your day and time. You think that it will come sometime maybe in the days of your children, but not with you. But I said this is a very foolish idea. It is the ideal of the rejectors, of the past messengers and prophets of God. It is that ideal that they entertain when the time of their doom drew near. They began to think it was a long ways off, but it was near. This is the way people is made to feel that rejects God and his religion, true religion, entire submission to his will. That's true religion. And carry into the practice of love for self and your brother. Do to your brother the things that you would like that he do to you. These are old rules that you have heard, and people have tried to constrain others to follow and obey, carried into practice. They call it sometimes the golden rule of righteousness or religion. Doing unto others as you would have others to do unto you. But you has been poisoned, robbed completely of the knowledge of yourself. Therefore you cry to those today who have been guilty of robbing and spoiling you, and still are guilty of robbing and spoiling you, will not wake you up to the knowledge that you has been spoiled and robbed. This is the thing that is going on today in our midst. Of the world of your kind is ashamed to see you down in the mud like a dog, begging for that which you can get yourself. Let's take a look at the fight for voting in the South. The poor, blind, deaf, and dumb people there, suffering all kinds of humiliation that they would not suffer in trying to seek the help of Almighty God Allah. They'd never put their bodies in the mud and in the dust to try to get Almighty God Allah to hear their prayers. They're down on their knees in water and mud. They walk miles and miles. They sing their songs of freedom while there is no freedom. They sing their songs of salvation while there is no salvation for them in the way that they are going, making themselves absolutely a disgraceful and ignorant people before the eyes of their own people, who prays that they would come to knowledge of the truth and get up out of the mud and dust and clean up themselves, make themselves fit for acceptance of them. How can you expect any people to accept you in such act? Praying to let them vote for you. You want to vote for none other than your masters, the ones that is beating you, clubbing you to death and shooting you down for even asking them for the privilege, the freedom to vote. You will never be able to set your own man in the chair of authorities to rule in the South and in Washington. You're going to vote only for the people that is now depriving you of voting and depriving you of the privilege to even help put them in office. No. You think that if you get a chance to vote, that you will be able to get near to those in authorities as their equal. They are the one controls your voting. They are the one that have the last say on whether or not your man that you choose shall rule. Your vote is not equal with theirs. They don't like to tell you so, but they know that a so-called Negro vote, the lost and found member of the nation of righteous, is not the value of his vote, because the so-called Negro is a one slave and don't own anything in this country like land. He's not the equal to the honors of America. He is not the one that studies and prepares laws for the land, for the people. He's to accept whatever his master has made for law and for rule and for regulations. He is not the maker of the law. Now, he thinks that if he can vote like his slave master, he thinks that he have equal rights, equal authorities to put in office or out of office as the white man puts in and puts out his people of the office. This don't help you any, my friend. My people, wake up. Why do you want to be like that? Why do you want to vote to put in office your enemies? Why do you want to do these things to rule you? Are you so silly to think that this great earth here that you and me are living on, that it is so narrow now that you cannot find a place on it to live yourself? When you are not so many, you are a few people to hundreds of millions and billions of your kind. Why do you want to force the master that subjected your fathers to servitude slavery, and you now a free slave, to vote for them, to, as I'm saying, as I have on the last page of our paper, the Muhammad Speak. Why don't you join with me in saying the same that you find written therein? Since you are free, go ahead, unite, and exercise this freedom that your slave master promised and say he gave it to you 100 years ago. Why not be smart? Why not take advantage of the freedom? Why do you want to sell yourself back into slavery? You say, no, I want to vote so that I can get better consideration. Are you so foolish to think that you will be the equal with the white voters? No, you won't. How long do you think that it will take you in the South to become masters of the voting box? You won't be the one to count them. You won't be the one to tell one another whether or not your vote is qualified. You are not going to be the one to have the last say. So why are you disgracing yourself in the mud and in the dust at their feet, begging them to let you vote for them when there comes a election? Why don't you read the program that I have on the last page of our paper so that you will learn what to ask for and how to act as a civilized man of the earth? You are acting as a most ignorant person of the earth, wanting to become the brother of your enemies, wanting to become absolutely a equal member of the enemy whom God has denounced as a race of devils. Why do you want to be one of them? Why do you want to mix with them? You are absolutely silly yourself. God has now singled you out as being the first in the sun, and that the earth belongs to you and your kind. And the world of white man knows these things. They are not the owner of the earth. It's you the owner of the earth. And Allah calls you to accept your own, and you refuse it. He warned you that a day of reckoning is now at hand. He warned you and me that the doom of this world is now. They are face to face with it. There is no peace for the wicked. There is nothing but trouble, death, sorrow, and groaning and moaning that this world is facing. The bloody city, as Nahum prophesied of Nineveh, is now in America. All of our cities is full of bloodshedding of this so-called Negro. The police department have a free hand to go beat and kill at will. And the government backs them up when it comes to a so-called Negro. If it was not for the killing of a white priest there in the South a week or so ago, beating his head, do you think that you would have heard such speech coming from the mouth of the president? You had already been killed and beaten down there. But you continue to suffer the beating until now. White priestess come in and try to help show some sympathy for you. They know the Bible. You don't. They understand the Bible. You don't. Why didn't these priestess come down and tell you, you are free men, Negroes, you're free. And the call of your God is now being heard in our midst. And the religion of your God is now being preached to you. He has sent his own messenger among you, teaching you the things of your salvation. Why didn't they teach you that? But goes down to help condone your stand, knowing that this stand is wrong. It will never get you any salvation for following them. You don't belong to them. You're not brothers to them. By nature you was not created a brother to them, and they was not created a brother to you. Why would they try and keep you in the dark? They don't want you to enjoy salvation. They want you to go on with them. They aid in trying to help you to remain in what you have. Secondly, they feel disgrace. They are intelligent. They know these things. To see the so-called Negro down at their government feet, begging and disgracing himself and them too. The world looking at ignorant and foolish so-called Negroes, just taking beatings after beatings, day and night, trying to follow the white man and trying to lay hold on that which he thinks that will give power to force the white man to recognize him as an equal citizen, which the world knows that the American Negro could never hope for no such thing. It would only be false if it was given to you. It cannot be given to you. Equality with the white man, because you're not his equal. This is the thing you don't like to hear. You're not his equal in his own house. This is his house. You cannot be the equal of another man's a citizen of another country and on another government. You are not his equal there, because that is his and not yours. He makes his laws, not you. He runs his own house according to his own will and not according to your will. And now you being up from slavery of a parents that was held in servitude slave for 300 long years, and now you asking that slave master's children, make me your equal. No, make a way and let you get out from his house. This is the thing you intellectual people should be doing. Teaching your own people, since we are free and suffering humiliation and blood at the hands of our slave masters' children, as our fathers suffered at the hand of these, their children's fathers. Let us go for ourselves. Ask them to give us a push-off. What I mean a push-off, the slang push-off, means help you to go for yourself, since they have robbed you of everything and has not given to you an indeed freedom to do something for yourself. Do not ask them to stay with them and share with them what they have, but seek to go for self and share in that which is yours. The earth is great and it's wide, and there is no need for you to be begging a slave master to let you remain his slave. Americans, the white man of Americans will never give you no equal in his government. He cannot. How can he give you equal in his government when that he is the owner, unless that he wants to relinquish his ownership of all that he have and give you equal share in that, equal education, and is not doing so. He don't like even as much to have you sitting beside him as his equal before the world. Your own black skin makes him to look upon you as something that he should be ruling and not you equal with him in rule, because this is the thing that his father made him for, to rule you. and me for 6,000 years. But I warn you, as God has warned me to teach you these bare truths. His time is up. There is no such thing that he have forever to live on the earth. He knows that. His time is up and the day of his doom approaches. I would say in our eyes. And you have this great, everlasting privilege. Why don't you accept it? As I say unto you, in the name of Allah, get up off your knees, you mighty nation. You can accomplish what you will. As I say, Assalamu alaikum.
Greetings to you. I am Elijah Muhammad, the preacher of freedom, justice, and equality to my people. The original black nation of the earth that has been lost from there on for the past 400 years here in the Western Hemisphere, in the United States of North America. I would like, since there is so many questions coming up concerning Elijah Muhammad and his followers and the teachings that he is teaching to the so-called American Negroes, the lost and found members of the original black nation of the earth. Know for truth, since that the election of a ruler for the people of America for the next 4 years is now being searched for. The election called the national election, where two parties and two men run for that particular office, the greatest and the most honorable office of the land, the President of the United States of America. The time in this day that this particular election is now taking place, the poor so-called American Negro stands almost confused over who he should choose to be his ruler for the next 4 years. He has been disappointed ever since the first president, George Washington, in trying to get equal justice, having equal opportunity, and being recognized as an equal human being among the human family of the earth. He today now faces the most crucial of his history in America. These are the most, I repeat, the crucial days and time of the so-called American Negro. The whole nation is all confused. The nations of the earth is confused and is angry with each other. The time of trying to build and carry out with strength and force the ideals or aims of the American people and its government upon her national citizens and others throughout the earth that is dependent in some way or another on the help of America. Here stands 22 million people. That is all but slaves of the first denomination. Pardon me, the denominator. They have been here suffering, pleading for justice every 4 years and 8 years or as long as there is another election. For the past 100 years of their so-called freedom from servitude to slavery. These poor people today is in a critical time and at one of the most critical periods of their history in the Western Hemisphere. They're at the crossroads where that they must decide for self and for the future of their children, their nation, be completely blotted out as a people among people that is worthy to be recognized as an equal human being. I declare to you, and pardon me, from the most sincerity of my heart, that you, my people, should be the most careful of all people on the earth in passing your decision today in America. In this election and for the future of your own people. You're not at the decision or to make a decision on the future of your people under the repeated almost changes of government in America between the two parties, Republic and Democrat, every 4 years. But you have arrived at the crossroads to decide not only for temporary future condition under the American government, but you at the time where that you must now try and come to a decision on whether or not that you will remain forever a subject to the same people that your father were brought into subjection 400 years ago, or whether or not that you will vote firmly among yourself for a better future for yourself and for your nation, your children, on whether or not that we shall turn to our own, do something for our own self, turn to our own kind, turn to our own God, turn to our own religion, seek some of this earth that we can build a future of peace, freedom, justice, and equality among ourselves as other nations, and history shows they have been successful in doing these things for themselves. I said to you again and again, it is high time that we get together and try to carve out a future for self instead of continuously pleading, begging for our slave masters' children to provide a future for us. Every president from Washington to Mr. Johnson today has disappointed us in giving to us equal justice, equal protection under their law, in which we was born under and has continued to be born under for the last 400 years. For the last 100 years of so-called freedom for us from the white man's domination, we have not exercised that freedom and has not been absolutely free. We, the leaders and teachers of our people today, should remember these things, that for 100 long years we have been disappointed. At every election, I should say every national election of the land, we today are still not only asking for just civil rights, but first we are trying to get us as a people to be recognized as under the call human rights, which means to recognize us as equal human beings along with other human beings of the earth. This has not been granted us. Not to say a national civil right, which is confined only in the territory of North America. If granted, and then, if such a granted, in which they have tentatively said that they have granted it is of that kind of civil rights that is in part. We don't have 100% equal chance, equal recognition under this bill. So I say to you, leaders and teachers of my people, we are far off from being equal in our beliefs and thinkings. Far apart. Since we are far apart in our equal thinkings and beliefs of a better future for our people, we should unite, come together, discuss our differences, and let us agree on that particular thing that will bring to our people freedom, justice, and equality, equal chance as human beings on this planet Earth. On some of it that we can call on for the 22 million of our people who are now becoming overcrowded and squeezed out by the ever increasing population of both white and black in America. And with the white only planning and building and reserving and storing up, manufacturing all that we get our need, making us a subject and a prison to accept what they produce and prepare for us, or we suffer the consequence. We must begin to think in terms of doing something for self, lest we be left stranded over the narrow, undependable bridge, over the chasm that we know that will not support our crossings. Let us remember that with all of our trying to think in terms of uniting and trying to please the white race of people and the things that we think that they would like of us, that at the same time we are displeasing ourselves in the way of a good future for ourselves and our children. Let us remember, since that the confusion in yourself and in the nation and nations throughout the earth at this time, in trying to get the confidence of the people behind them, and in trying to get the people to believe in them, that they will be better next year than they was last year. And the people trying to force themselves to think that they can produce a better leader, our ruler. This concerns independent nations. This concerns people whose people and governments and countries is in jeopardy against the enemies of other countries and people. We are a people that has been offered freedom from servitude slavery. We don't come in that category. We are a people looking for a home. We are a people looking for justice, freedom, equality with other human beings. We are a people who wants an equal chance to go for self. This is what we should be doing. I warn you that the kind of choice that you are trying to get behind just for civil rights, just for a job, equal employment, to associate with as equal members of the same society of the American white citizens. This is the wrong kind of thing that you should be digging and fighting for. You should be fighting to get on the road to self, not on the road that will lead you into the bondage are subject you to the will and rule of another, but to yourself and under your own rulership, as other nation has done, who did not number not so near as many as you. You are 4 times as many as Ghana in population. But yet you do not want to give up being a servant, running all over the country, seeking a job that has been created by the white man, and want to force him to give you equal employment in that employment which he has produced for his people. Let us get away from that before he turns and recognize these facts and force us to go for self. I think you should remember the speech that I made in Chicago of July 1962 at the McCormick Place, which was based upon what the Muslim want, which means my followers and myself. None of this have you given much attention to, but has ever since been laying around the gate of the white man begging for him to care for you, begging him to recognize you as an equal citizen with him in America, which cannot be done sincerely for you. The government is white. The ruler of the land is white. The country is owned by whites, not by you. Right there, we cannot declare ourselves equal. We are an equal human being, maybe, and a superior being if we were stripped of the spoiling and robbings that our fathers and ourselves have received from the white race. Now let's go back to our original self in history beyond 6,000 years ago, and we will quickly agree that black is superior. Not inferior, but superior. It is the father of the races of the earth. It is the first and the last. This is now coming to a showdown. You must know these things. There was nothing wrong that you could point out against that speech of what the Muslim wants, and it appears every 2 weeks or bi-weekly in our newspaper, the Muhammad Speak, on the last page. Let's take a glimpse at some of what the Muslim want. In this humanist talk, which is a question asked most frequently by both white and black. The answer to this question, I shall state as simple as possible, as I said on the 10th of July, 1962. We want freedom. We want a full and complete freedom, which we have not had. We want justice, equal justice, under the law, of justice, of the land. And this should be given to us regardless of creed or color or class. But this has been denied us for 400 years. We want an equal opportunity. We want equal membership in the best civilized society of the earth. I don't mean that we should seek such membership until we are worthy, qualified for such membership. That we are doing right here in America. Under the teaching that I'm giving, I'm making my people equal in any society of the nation of the world. You will soon come to know, if you don't know it. Fourth, in the paragraph of the program mentioned on the last page of our Muhammad Speak paper, we want our people in America whose parents or grandparents were descendants from slavery to be allowed to establish a separate state or territory of their own, which should be given like this. If we cannot, and which it is later, further on down, we cannot get along with the white citizens of America in peace, we would like that they help us to get started for our own self and our own poor, underprivileged people on some of this earth here in the Western Hemisphere that they are on and is the ruler over. To ourselves, where there will be no friction between the black and the white, where there will not be any burdens upon the white Americans on whether or not we believe as they believe or not religiously. That this could be easily done, help us to get started and help us and are in that which we have not and have not produced for the next 20 or 25 years until we are able to provide the necessity of our own people here in the Western Hemisphere. We don't see why you disagree with us, but you are absolutely solid. Some speaks against it and says separation won't solve the problem. I don't think that trying to live with the people 400 years and continue disagreeing with each other on whether or not they should treat us as human beings or give us equal justice with them will solve the problem. I thank you.